Hello and welcome to Be Confused
Hello.
with your anonymous hosts.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good too.
I'm doing very well. You know why?
Why?
So I went to the doctor last week.
Well, I do know why, but yes, why?
Yeah, just for the sake of the
Uh-huh.
podcast. So I went to the doctor last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was very low. My cholesterol was super high, and my vitamin D was super down.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 9. It's supposed to be on 40 or up,
Oh my God, same, but not vitamin
and
D.
and I didn't know that causes depression-like symptoms.
Vitamin D?
Yeah, vitamin
You
D
didn't know
deficiency.
that?
No,
That's why they tell you to go out in the sun.
I thought it's just to
A
to
lie?
look nice and get a tan.
No.
But no, apparently it has a lot to do, like it affects your mood, your clarity, your
Yeah.
energy. Also, the cholesterol doesn't help either with the
What does
energy.
cholesterol affect?
Um,
I don't really know what cholesterol is. Is that when you have like stuff in your arteries and it like clogs it?
I think so. Yeah,
Right? Like fat or
yeah,
oils and stuff?
yeah.
Okay. So you have
Comes
high
from
of
me.
that?
High that, yeah. So I'm taking some medication for a month to bring it back to normal, and then I'll
You're gonna do
do
what
the
you need
work
to do.
myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, a lot of exercise. I have since I started my masters. I haven't done that much exercise
Mm.
because time.
Do you like exercising?
I do like exercising.
I
Yeah,
don't.
it feels rewarding.
Mm-mm.
Feels like you accomplish something. You feel healthy. You feel. I don't know. I don't know how
I
to explain it.
guess. I do like a good sweat. Like last night we went to the gym at like 8:30 and we were
Yeah.
working out and it was nice, but I just don't like sweating
Do you get
also.
like some type of high? Out of it. I get a high sometimes from exercising. It's like, ooh, I feel good.
No, I don't really get that.
No, well,
Mm-mm.
you're not doing it
Probably.
right. Yeah. So this episode, I want to talk about Pepe Mujica. We talk
Wait, are
here.
you done with your cholesterol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you? You said you were good. You wanted to elaborate on
No,
your goodness? No.
no.
Okay. But yeah.
Oh
So
my
for
goodness.
yeah, for this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about Pepe Mujica. He died a month ago,
Oh,
approximately.
he just died? Is that
Yeah.
why he was on your head?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
just
I thought you
died,
just wanted to
and
talk about him. Okay.
I've always admired him. I remember seeing a documentary of him, like his trajectory. He fought in a war. He was one of the leaders of a nationalist party that tried to take over a really bad government in Uruguay. I know very little of this. I only know about his views and a lot of his quotes. And lately, I've been reading a lot more about him. And there's something really moving about the way Pepe Mujica speak or used to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the words; it's the life behind them. He was, like I said, once the president of Uruguay, but he chose to live in a humble farmhouse, donated most of his salary, and drove an old Volkswagen uh, Beetle. What's
Mm-hmm.
it called? The
A bug.
funny looking,
Yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah,
beetle.
the Beetle. And in a world that defines success by how much you have, this guy redefined it by how little you need. And one of his quotes that stuck with me, it's a little confusing. He's like he sometimes he says things and it's a little bit confusing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote is, I'm gonna read this. Read this. It's good to live the way you think because if you don't, you'll end up thinking the way you live.
Hmm.
You get what it means?
No.
So this one hit me hard because it made me ask myself, am I shaping my life around my values or just shaping my values around the life I've settled into?
Mm.
And it's
Okay.
easy to get swept in a routine, an expectation, in what's normal, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. But little by little, we stop living with intention, we adapt, we justify, we go numb.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy also said something brutally honest, and I love how it sounds in Spanish because it
So say
sounds
it in
more
Spanish
blunt.
first.
I mean, it's something simple, like
Oh.
viví toda mi vida tratando de cambiar el mundo y no hice mierda. I spent my whole life trying to change the world, and I didn't do shit. At first, it sounds like resignation. It sounds like he gave up. It sounds like defeat. But if you learn a little bit about his trajectory, it's. I think he says it more from a point of clarity. He wasn't saying that fight was useless. He was saying that it's never finished. That the point is not to change everything. The point is to care enough to try. And what really stuck with me was when he said that he couldn't understand how some people live their whole lives without ever trying to help someone else, without ever standing for something that doesn't benefit them directly. And that resonated resonated,
Resonated.
resonated with me deeply because I felt that same confusion, and I've told you about it, like that ache, that desire, that sense of how can you not care? And I used to think empathy was normal, and that everyone felt this pull, this need, this desire, this force that pushes you to try and make things a little bit better for not only for you but for everyone else. But it turns out that is not as common as I thought. The that thing I assume was that I thought it was human nature. That but it's actually rare. And then last week in one of the classes that I had, they were talking about the neuroscience of empathy. And actually, we are built to feel empathy. And maybe for the next episode, I can elaborate a little bit more on that from my notes from school.
Do you think that we have been desensitized to all of the stuff that's been happening, and therefore we can't build that empathy because everything is happening all at once?
Yeah, our society trains it out of us. We're told to compete, not to connect, to consume, not to care, to hustle, not to help. And Pepe Mujica, he reminded me that resisting that, staying soft in a hard world is revolutionary. You don't have to change the world. You just have to refuse to become indifferent. Live the way that you think, because if you don't, eventually you'll think the way that you live. And that is, the real danger.
Okay, so what is your understanding of what you just said? Like, what are you trying to get at? What is the...
I think this was more for me, sometimes, and I'm sure you get that feeling of giving up, that feeling that you're working towards nothing, and that just everything is going to go to shit, doesn't like no matter what. And for me, at least this works for me in giving me the strength to keep going,
to carry on. So what is it that gives you the strength? Like what is the message behind that gives you the strength to carry on?
That you don't need an excuse to try and do good. We just need to do it because we're human.
That's what we're here for. Okay.
Because that's what we're here for.
So like I get that, and like my mug says it doesn't have to happen to you to matter to you. So I get that. Like I don't have to be deported to realize that all the people that are being fucking kidnapped is a bad thing. But I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, like especially in this country, we're not necessarily taught how to be empathetic. We're not necessarily taught to share and build community and stuff like that. So what did he do? Like what was all the work that he was doing that he was like at the end, I didn't do shit? Like what was he doing?
I don't have all the information on that, but what I remember from documentary, he fought for justice, for a government that like didn't only benefit like the people that could access.
He fought.
He has like 6 bullets stuck in his body from when he fought in that war.
That's cool.
So he actually was there. And I can look up some of the things that he did because I don't have it from the top of my head. You never heard of him?
No, I've never heard of him. I have a public school education from the United States of America.
Public school is pretty good.
It's not.
I mean, in my experience, it's better than private school. I went to private school.
Well, private school is a scam too.
Yeah, I went to private school, and I think that's where I learned the least.
Here?
No, in Puerto Rico. Which in Puerto Rico, people used to think, oh, it's private school, it's better, it's more prestigious, bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had more shitty friends than when I was in private school. I made my real friends when I was in public school. The quality of people, even, private school is full of kids with pretentious parents, especially Christian private schools.
I went to a high school that was white and pretentious and stuff like that. So I get that. But I didn't feel like my education mattered or anything like that. And I did my thing. Like I did get good grades in high school and stuff like that. But I don't think it was something that people in my life or educational career actually cared about.
So I got here some bullet points on things that he did while he was president of Uruguay from 2010 to 2015. So he was one of the. Oh, actually, I remember this. He made in 2013 Uruguay, the first country in Latin America to legalize same-sex marriage. He legalized abortion, expanding reproductive rights in a deeply conservative region. Also, first place in Latin America to happen. Legalized and regulated marijuana, becoming the first country in the world to do that nationwide. The goal was to fight drug trafficking and treat addiction as a public health issue, not a criminal one.
That's nice.
He expanded access to education and healthcare, especially for rural populations. He strengthened environmental policies and advocated for sustainable development and ecological responsibility. He also did a lot of global advocacy. He delivered viral speeches at the UN and international summits, criticizing hyper-consumerism and the global obsession with economic growth and the expanse of humanity and the planet. His 2012 Rio Plus 20 speech is especially famous. He said, "We've been told to live to consume, but when we buy something, we're not paying it with money. We're paying it with the hours of our life that took to earn it." He was revolutionary and a former guerrilla, what I told you. He spent 13 years in prison, much of it in solitary confinement, which, by the way, people go crazy when they're in that solitary
that does
confinement.
like literal psychological damage to you.
And during Uruguay's military dictatorship in the between the 70s and the 80s, as a member of the Tupamaros urban guerrilla group. So he was a guerrilla, considered a terrorist group because they were going against the government at that time. That was a horrendous dictatorship. And that tells you a lot about when they label people that try to fight for a change with something negative. So
nobody wants to do that.
Them. Like probably when what's happening to
MAGA.
Okay. After being released, he shows the path of peace, democracy, and reconciliation rather than revenge or resentment. He taught a lot about love, and but also when change needed to happen, he also advocated for to fight.
So he's an anti-capitalist. He believes that violence is part of the solution, and he seems to like good vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's a pothead? Do you think he smokes? I think so, right?
I feel like more people should smoke.
Yeah.
I'm taking a tolerance break this month, unfortunately.
I need to do it too, yeah. Now that I feel good with taking my,
your B and your D's,
taking my D and my cholesterol,
you'll
pills,
take a break.
I think, yeah.
So apparently, it's like 6 weeks that are supposed to like actually clean you out, but whatever. Yeah. So what happened to all of the stuff that he did? Now, so he died last year, but he wasn't president last year.
No, yeah, he.
When was he? President. When was that? When did he stop being president?
2015.
Okay, so since for the last 10 years, what has happened? What has reverted? What has happened like in his country?
I'm not sure. I haven't followed. I just follow him as a.
But I feel like if you're doing all of these things and you're advocating for change, and he's actually doing it because you said that he did the
speech at the UN.
Yeah, he's doing stuff.
And he's always been very active in media and social media, putting videos, reflections.
Yeah.
Going back to his presidency, the things that he did, trying to move young people to stand for the battles that he stood for, and to.
But they're not there, I'm assuming, right now.
Not enough people. A lot of people are there. They follow him. They follow his teachings.
Oh, I mean the policies visions. And stuff that he.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I feel like based on the world that we're in, they are not there anymore.
I would guess, yes, many of those things were maybe taken back.
So what do you think that is? Like, he's talking about, hey, I want to be peaceful. I want to try to make the world a cool place. And people are like, no, we're actually going to make it.
No, I think the opposite. I think there's a lot of people that want to change. But there's very little people like him that are willing to work towards that change, to challenge society.
What can people who want to have change, who don't want to do that?
I mean, how can you blame them? They're afraid. You say that you're not willing to risk your life for that, and it's that's fair. But
yeah, I don't feel like it has to be a risk your life kind of change.
Unfortunately, no war has been won with peace.
Have we tried it?
Yeah.
Have we?
Not even in the Bible. God eliminated fucking whole cities. God that is all powerful. He can even deal with peace.
I don't really believe in God though. Like
let's say we're not believing in God. I'm using the Bible as an example. Like this omnipresent, omnipotent, all powerful, all knowing being used violence as well because humankind
No,
is so
I
corrupt.
definitely agree that we should
Yeah,
have violence. We
yeah,
definitely need to start killing
yeah.
people. There are a lot of people with a lot of money that are
I mean,
calling
not
the
killing,
shots.
defending ourselves, I would say.
Yeah.
We should defend
Like,
ourselves.
so the United Healthcare guy who died,
Uh-huh.
there's like 320 million claims that they denied for like life saving
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, like, why is that not regulated? Insurance companies are making all of this money and they're doing all this stuff, but one guy kills the person in charge of it and he's going to be on death row, but nobody else is caring about all the people who died who pay
Yeah.
into insurance. I think we need
Insane.
to start decentering money and creating more
Communist.
community. Well, creating more community and like sharing and doing all of this stuff and helping other people out, which is basically what he's saying. But people don't want to do that
Yeah. No,
because
I
they have
think
like a scarcity
a
thinking,
lot of
a
people want
scarcity
change.
thinking,
A lot of people want change. Very little people are willing to be part of that change, to work
because it's
towards it, to risk their
uncomfortable.
lives. Not
People,
comfortable. It's scary as fuck.
but not many people are going to get to that point. Even if I say I don't want to die for the change, I don't
Mhm.
think I'm going to get to that point where my life is in danger or my life is in peril. But I feel like if we start with smaller things that we can do to enact that change, it doesn't have to be one person dying for a cause. It can be 1,000 people having little tiny changes in their life.
Have you seen the movie A Bug's Life?
Yes.
Is that the movie that the no wait, is
With
it
the
Ants?
grasshopper. No, it's a bug's life.
That says the bad guy is seeing an
Hopper.
example. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying one of his followers, he says, "Oh, it's okay. It's only one ant
Yeah.
that's being loud and rebelling.
Yeah.
One ant is nothing." And
Mm-hmm.
he grabs this little seed and throws it at him. Did that seed hurt?
Mm-hmm.
He said no.
And he
Okay, and then
laughed. He's
he
like, ha ha
broke the
ha ha.
freaking I don't know, storage of seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and it killed those two guys, or it
Mm-hmm.
hurt them, and
Yeah.
yeah,
It smashed them.
smashed them. And he says it is dangerous if only one boy stands up,
Yeah.
because then a bunch is gonna
Yeah.
follow. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are willing to be that ant. A lot of people are. I mean, a lot of people are not willing to be that ant. A lot of people are not willing to be Pepe Mujica. A lot of
But I
people
feel
want that
like a lot
change.
of
A lot
people
of those
are,
ants
though.
want
Like,
that change.
I feel like a lot of people are. Like, my TikTok is full of people speaking out and doing stuff.
Speaking out, not many people doing stuff.
What is
Speaking out
doing
is
stuff
easy.
then? What is doing stuff? Because, yeah, I agree with you.
Going to
We
a
have
line
to
of fire like
advocate.
this guy, not being afraid of taking bullets, which is completely fair to be scared, and no one should be obligated to do that. But not a lot. Have you? You haven't seen the movie The Platform?
Yeah, I have.
You saw it?
Yeah.
So they were trying to make it just for everyone to have access to the food. This movie is about this platform that goes up and down and starts from level one with a bunch of food, and it keeps going down. People on the top spits and shits
And everybody has their favorite meal, so everybody
uh-huh.
can eat.
Everyone can eat,
Mhm.
but when it goes down to the last level, there's no food.
Or it's
Because
like
the people on the top, they're
shadowing.
afraid that for the next month, they're not going to be at the top. They're going to be maybe at the bottom. So
So do you think that
and it wasn't until wait, let me finish.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. And it wasn't until this guy, he tried to get on the thing and tried to convince everyone, hey, just eat your portion, eat your plate, eat what you brought, so there's enough for everyone. No one wanted to listen until he started to kill people.
them? Yeah.
And it wasn't until he used violence to do it. But I don't believe in that. But that's
think
kind of a
that's-
critic
I think
saying that
we
human
have to do
nature.
that. Yeah.
I mean, we've been told that human nature is that we're bad, but I don't think it's human nature. I think that society, today's society, modern society, has turned
The killing part?
turned us into that.
The killing part, though?
No, that in order to be changed, we need to be violent and scare people,
Hmm.
and it shouldn't be that way. And I think we're going to leave it to there because my phone is about to turn off. I have very low battery. I have 4% right now. I think it was a good
That
conversation.
was actually really good because
Yeah.
that was 2%. You started
Yeah.
at 6.
Yeah, we did 20 minutes, and it's not too long. It's not too short. You want to end up with a reflection?
Not too short?
Short.
Okay, so the reflection of today is anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything which it is poured on.
Less anger, more love. Bye.
And good vibes.